simply go from your corporate life to being an entrepreneur if you don't have a financial support,
Yes.
somewhere to land.
Mhm.
Okay, so I give practical tips on how to do that at every stage. Stay in your corporate job, but do it now with the intention and the purpose that
Yes.
you are working for yourself.
Mhm.
You are a contractor. You are a free agent. You're choosing to work on that job so that you are setting aside what they pay you.
Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. LaChelle Wieme, and today we get a chance to hear from a new friend, and I am so stinking excited to have you here. So Foluke is the beautiful curator of a recent book, and I absolutely love that we get a chance to talk about that today. You also are a financial coach and a recent transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, which is really fun because we get a chance to talk to you when it's really still fresh in your mind as far as like what things that you've had to overcome to make that big leap. You also are a podcaster. Like there's so many things about you, girlfriend, that I can go on and on and on, but I want to just like pass it over to you. First off, say welcome to the show. And secondly, can you tell us a little bit about who you love to serve? Like how do you love to show up in the world these days?
Absolutely. I'd love to tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Foluke Olayele, and I am the CEO of Hand in Hand Consulting. And that sounds like a really big title, but it's a role that I have stepped into just in the last few months to serve people who are dealing with basically swimming upstream,
Mhm.
right? Using that analogy, swimming upstream against the current of being broke and in debt and hiding the stress of their life
Yeah.
and desiring to be successful and wealthy, but not knowing how to bridge from one side to the other. I
Yes.
literally help people create that bridge so that they can experience right now, today, what they thought would take years to
Mhm.
build with wealth.
Yes. Yes. So tell us a little bit about the corporate job that you had previously before you took the leap into your entrepreneurial, like full-time capacity.
Absolutely. I was in corporate America for over 20 years. I think I actually capped 24 years in the same industry that I landed in accidentally straight out of college. Um, I remember actually when I decided that I was going to take on this job, I told my mom about it.
Yes.
And after I got off the phone with her, I cried. I cried because and I'm Nigerian, and our Nigerian community is very much about education, right? I went to school, got a degree. And if you're not a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a teacher, it's like, who are you and what did you go to school for? Like, what
Uh-huh.
is that? And I decided to get a job in sales. And my mom, it wasn't just that I got a job in sales, it was that I got a job in sales and that the salary was $25,000 a year. And even then, that was like nothing. She's like, you did not just get a college degree to earn that. But my corporate career was in sales,
Uh-huh.
and I was doing what's called telesales, over the phone, selling to business, industrial sales, right? And within less than a year, I definitely made way more than that
And that was your
because
base salary, right? Yeah.
you have salary, but that was the salary. But then with sales, you have the opportunity. If you're really good, you make way more.
Yes.
I did, and I continue to, right? And then I became a manager because they saw the potential in me to lead other people. It was just something that I did naturally. I didn't know. Straight out of college, you know nothing. I didn't know I would be good at speaking to people. I didn't know that I would have the talent or the passion
Yeah.
for presenting things to people that they need, that their business needs, that their employees need, right? For their safety. That's what I sold, industrial safety products. And
Mhm.
so I started managing a team and training new hires and training managers, and I became the subject matter expert for my company nationally on sales, but also on our new software. So that has been my career: is selling and teaching others how to sell inside over the phone telesales, but also outside sales, which I was scared to death of doing because talking to people over the phone was nothing, but face to face. What? Um,
Right.
yeah, like you can't tell over the phone that I'm like 5'1". But in person you can. So
Yeah.
I was so scared of that, but I did successfully transition to doing outside sales as well, and successfully doing that and teaching
Mhm.
other people how
Yeah.
to do it as well. So that's what I did.
So in your story, in your brief little introduction, you already demonstrated a couple of things, like just the challenges of being an immigrant right off the bat, right? Like
Yes.
to a new culture, and then fighting against cultural norms within your Nigerian background as far as like what you're supposed to do with your life, right? And
Absolutely.
you were able to show up, and you were able to prove to yourself and others that you could do it, and you became successful, and you continue to rise up in the rank in that space. And it sounds like, kind of a similar thing with me. Like, okay, I checked all the boxes, like life's going good in sales. Like, what I love about sales in general is that there is no ceiling, right? Like, you can continue to
Yes.
outperform yourself. And so there's the allure of that. And so technically, right, like you checked all the boxes, like you could have just ridden away in the sunset, living
Yes.
that life, but there was something inside of you that was longing for something a little bit different. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. It actually, I feel like it bloomed in
Hmm.
February of last year.
Uh-huh.
And in my book, Plant Your Money Seeds,
Uh-huh. Woo-hoo, there it is.
I talk a little bit about, or at least I should say, I use the seed analogy, right? But what I didn't realize was that even within me, that a seed had been sown
Mhm.
for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until February of last year that it actually came up out of the ground. And
Mhm.
it's like, oh my goodness, what is that?
Yeah.
But the seed was helping other people with their finances. And it was something that I did for free
Uh-huh.
for friends and family
Yeah.
because I loved it. And they would just come to me for financial advice because I had gotten myself out of debt, significantly out of debt. As a single mom, I was able to transition my finances into a place that was healthy and fruitful and even wealthy. And people saw that and they would come and ask me questions.
Yeah.
But again, I did it for free for 10 years. So in February of 2025, I feel like God Himself just like woke me up literally on Valentine's Day morning and said, "This is what you're going to do." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what?" But it was clear I had the passion for it, I had the personality, the experience. It was all literally me. I
Yes.
just didn't know to think it up, right?
Yes.
And since then, I've been exploring how to do it better, how to do it professionally.
Mhm.
And at that time, in February of 2025, I had a full time job that
Right.
was extremely lucrative, that I was doing really well.
Yep.
And I didn't have a reason to pour so much energy and time into this financial coaching. But in October, I decided that I would make the leap and do it full time. You know what? This is the time. This is the right
Yeah.
time to go all in. And so I did.
I love that so much because I think a lot of times people come to me and they're like, LaChelle, I know that there's something bigger for me, that I'm being pulled towards something, but I don't know what that is. And oftentimes, like you said, there are seeds that have already been planted. And when you start to look for evidence of the fruit of those trees, meaning the experiences that you've had, the natural talents that you have, the passions that you have, the things that you've gone through and things that you've figured out, as well as like core values. And when you start to really look at all those things, you can see where they start to align and point us in the direction. Is that kind of what happened to you?
Absolutely. But you don't even know it's happening until the seed comes out of the ground. It's like,
Yes.
oh, there was something planted there.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is then you get to analyze whether or not you want to continue watering that seed,
Right.
right? Do
Right.
I want to continue pouring my energy and my time and my money? Because starting a business requires all of those things. It really does. Like you're pouring your whole self
Yeah.
into it. And I got to choose whether or not I really wanted to do it. Is this something that I want to go all in
Mhm.
because I wanted to be successful, because I see the result, the impact it would make on other people's lives?
Right. Right.
Or am I going to squash it?
Yeah.
Because I've had other dreams come forward before.
Mhm.
This isn't my first business. This is actually my third. I was telling a friend this yesterday that
Yeah.
this is actually my third business. But the start and stop of the previous two gave me the strength, the
Mhm.
character,
Yeah.
additional experiences, right? And the confidence to start this one and decide, like, yeah, I actually see this one as an even better fit than
Right.
the other two. So
Totally.
I poured into it.
I think that's a question that people oftentimes will come to me as well. They're like, LaChelle, how do I know if I actually should put all my eggs in this basket and do this as a business? Or can I just still enjoy it as a hobby? And I
Yeah.
think that that's definitely such a great question that a lot of people have. How did you decipher that for yourself?
I would say to that question, start as a hobby. Start, give
Exactly.
yourself the time to
Yes.
test any and everything out, right?
Yeah.
I'm learning the importance of testing things in the marketplace to
Mhm.
see if there's really a need,
Right.
right? And if there really isn't a need for the thing that you do, whether it's a product or a service,
Mhm.
right? Then continue doing it as a hobby, meaning that you're not trying to be profitable with it. You're not trying to go full time and make it like the income generating
Right.
service or product that it could be. And do it as a hobby, do it for fun, and know that that's literally what you're doing it for. I am knitting these gloves because I love it.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's funny.
Oh,
The same thing kind of happened to me. Like people don't always know this, but like what I do now in my coaching is actually my third business. Really, when
oh,
I think
that's
about it as
good.
well, like I
Yes.
started as a photographer when my son was born, and we had an less than great experience during his newborn session. And I was like, well, shoot, I might as well just buy a camera and some classes and figure this out. And that turned into people coming to me for pictures. And I could have taken that but it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right thing. Then I started my skincare business in
Oh,
2016 that
cool.
essentially was what led me then to discover the coaching part of it. And just like you, I did that alongside of my full-time career and I tested it and I wanted to see if it was the thing that was going to make me come alive. And it did. It was like this black and white to color situation for me. But I also feel like we can be disillusioned. And I'm curious about this with you because once I ended up leaving my full time anesthesia career in 2022 to pursue this, I remember waking up one day and I was like, gosh, this isn't the rainbow and unicorns that I thought I was going to be like there were days where I'm like, gosh, I don't even know if this is as fun as I thought it was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I had to kind of like really get clear with myself as far as what do I love? What do I not love? How do I want this to look? And excuse my language, but like I remember reading a blog from I think it was Mark Manson who said that we all have our shit sandwiches and we just get to decide which shit sandwich we want to eat. Like and I realized that yes, there's gonna be things in my business that I have to do that I don't love. But being in business for myself was still what I would choose over the shit sandwich of having to go back to work. Even though I loved that job, this was still better. Does that make sense? Like,
I
can you
think
relate to that?
yes, yes, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I love, first of all, that your three businesses didn't necessarily touch on each other.
Right.
being in photography and skincare is not the same as being a podcast host, right? And a coach. That's not, I mean, like,
Yeah, I
that,
mean, they definitely, like, I feel like, but interesting. They are separate, but there were themes of it. So when I think about like the photography part, realizing how lack of confidence many people are to be in front of the camera. And like I think confidence has been a general theme of mine throughout everything that I've done. And the skincare business for me led me to realizing that there were so many things that entrepreneurs, because I was leading a big team with my skincare business, and people were getting in their own way a lot. And I started to realize the common beliefs and buts, basically the excuses, the barriers that hold people back from really being able to execute the things that they say they want
right.
versus not doing. And it sounds to me like you were able to identify this need of what people needed when you were helping them for free,
Yeah.
and then marrying that with your own experience in order to start a business. Because if I recall, like you were a single mom and
Yes.
you had a lucrative career, and there were risks to leaving that as a
Yes.
single mom to be able to do what you're doing.
Yeah. So I too had, with my three businesses,
Yeah.
um, there was a running thing. And
Hmm.
I will say, especially for CEOs who are thinking, not just CEOs, business women, right? Who are thinking of leaving their corporate world, whether you're a VP, a director, or a manager, and
Yeah.
you're thinking of making the leap into being an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
Again, I say start with exploring your hobbies.
Hmm.
So that way you can really solidify for yourself what is a passion of
Yep.
yours.
Hmm.
Because if it's not a real passion, you're not going to eat the sandwich, right? Every day to
Yeah.
make it a reality.
Right.
So my first business was a, what is it, a resume editing business. I
Okay.
loved writing. I actually majored in English, American literature at
Interesting.
UCLA,
Yeah.
and I loved writing. And as a new manager at the time, I was seeing so many horrible resumes. Like I can't even consider this, can't even consider this. And I was great at writing resumes and great at editing people's resumes. So I started a business editing people's resumes and then helping them edit books and things like that.
Yeah.
But I was not very good at charging people.
Mhm.
Again, this is the difference between a hobby and a business,
Right.
right? And people wanted things for free. Can you just do this for me for a favor? Or, and even when I did charge, the amount of hours I spent, it
Right.
did not even add up.
Yeah.
Like, this is not okay. Okay, so it's one thing to be passionate about something, and it's another thing to charge people the value. Well,
Right.
something is that if it's valuable, charge them accordingly. So
Right.
I stopped that business because I was pouring my whole heart and soul and not
Yes.
charging
Now
people.
you get the fruit from it. Yeah.
Yes. And then the second business was purses. I
Okay.
got handbags. I have beautiful handbags.
Yeah.
I love quality handbags, but I started a purse business that
Okay.
literally allowed me to explore my creativity, which I didn't know I had. But
Uh-huh.
I started tapping into my creativity, designing handbags,
Yeah.
beautiful handbags, had them made in Nigeria, brought them over to the US and sold them. And handbags, diaper bags, men's wallets, just all
Cool.
kinds of things. It
That's
was
so cool.
lovely.
Yeah.
I wasn't passionate about that really either. I loved it. It was beautiful. But is it something that I was going to show up for every single day and do it again and again and do vendor pop up shops? I hated that. Did not like
Yeah.
hours and hours setting up a pop up shop, tearing it down just so a few clients could purchase.
Mhm.
So I stopped that. But what was the running thing? I love serving people. There
Right.
are things that they need that will improve their lives.
Mhm.
But for it to be valuable for me and successful for me, I need to charge accordingly. They're experiencing value. I still see people carrying my handbags and my diaper bags. Like today, I'm like, the luggage bags. They're like, I'm like, you use that? Like, yeah. And it gives me a lot of attention. I'm like, oh my goodness. So they are receiving value.
Yeah.
If they're receiving value as a business owner,
Yeah.
I must charge accordingly.
And
So,
I think That is something that is so common. And I think back to my photography business. And I cringe when I think about this because other photographers in the area probably were like, what are you doing to our industry? Because I was charging people $100 for 150 edited pictures on a disc that they had lifetime access to use whatever they want. That was an insult to the profession,
Yeah.
really. But I was too insecure
Hmm.
to charge what I was worth. And I look back at my photos now. I mean, my daughter's birthday was yesterday. She's 13.
Oh, oh,
And I
it's
look
very
at the
nice.
pictures, and newborn pictures were a specialty of mine. And I looked at her pictures, and girlfriend, I'm still really proud of them. They were beautiful. And I
Hmm.
never charged what they were worth. And so what ends up happening, right? We kind of lose our zest because it's like I'm spending all this time.
Yes.
I'm spending 4 hours on the computer and processing it for every 1 hour of photo shooting. I
Yeah.
wasn't charging enough to make this sustainable. But really, what I needed to do is work on me in between my ears, right? And belief in myself so that I was able to show up doing what I loved because I still really actually liked photography,
Right.
but I didn't, there was a mismatch in who I needed to be successful in that. And
Hmm.
but I'm grateful for all of the pieces that came from that experience because it led me to where I am now. And it sounds like all of those experiences for you led you to where you are now.
Yeah.
And that's what I love so much about, you've been there, you've done that. And one of the things that you said the last time we chatted was that you're like, gosh, as an entrepreneur, there's so much I didn't know. And there's like layers upon layers of what I didn't know.
Yes.
And I love that because I think it's so real. Like, I love these conversations because they're real. And even somebody like yourself, who's got a lot of success behind you, you've had several businesses already, and you still are here and like, oh my gosh, like there's so much I didn't know. Tell us a little bit more about like what that looks like so that people can be like, oh my gosh, me too. Thank you for letting me be seen.
Well, to help people, I heard this statistics a very long time ago,
Mhm.
and I think it's still true.
Yeah.
But they say like the most successful people that we see, business owners,
Mhm.
head of these amazing founders of these companies,
Yeah.
it's not their first business. It's
Right.
often their third, fourth, or fifth.
Mhm.
So I say that to say, don't give up. Do
Yes.
not give up. That is one success secret of the most successful and the most wealthy. They fail a lot.
Yes.
And I got this in my head as a teenager and in my early 20s.
Mhm.
Fail quickly,
Yep.
get over it, pick yourself up and keep
Yes.
going. If
Yes.
you don't have that quality,
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur is going to be painful and
Uh-huh.
it may be poverty stricken for you,
Yes.
okay?
It's because
Um,
everything is
but
devastating. Like, you spiral down so quickly.
yes, yes, and we
And
want you to spiral up.
yes, right? And that's the thing, right? Like, I hear so oftentimes, like, this isn't going well. I must not be cut out for this.
And that's not true.
True. I
Okay, so
know.
so you mentioned you were charging $100 for your photography.
Yeah.
So after two businesses, even in my third business,
Yeah.
I started off charging $100 for my coaching. And it's like literally after like the fifth session with a client, because there's so much that goes into coaching before the coaching.
Oh, 100%.
Then, then there's the time you understand. Then
Yeah.
there's the time of the coaching,
Uh-huh.
and then there's the time post coaching. And then you're still thinking about the clients and still looking for ways to improve their
Yeah.
lives and pour
Yeah.
into them. And it was like, no way, no way. When I did the math on my hours, no way. Why am I doing this? But just like you mentioned, I still needed and am still doing the mental mindset work
Mhm.
to remind myself of my identity. Because if I come to a client and my identity is not confident in myself,
Yep.
where I don't see the value that I'm bringing to them, I'm not helping them and I'm not helping
Yeah.
myself.
Uh-huh.
So I first must believe that I have the resources, I have the experiences, I have the knowledge, I have the wisdom that will help them get to the level they want to get to, right? We're talking about bridging that gap from the swimming upstream, the difficulty of all of the debt and the poverty mentality, scarcity mentality, all of the heavy
Yes.
financial load that they have, and
Yes.
getting them to the other side of feeling wealthy. Sometimes people are wealthy, they don't feel it, but
Yes.
feeling wealthy, being aware of their money, and being confident to make financial decisions. To be able to help them bridge that gap, I must be the coach that brings value to them.
Right.
And if I believe I bring that value and that they will experience 10x, 100x for the time that they have with me,
Yep.
then I must charge them accordingly. That gives them the dignity.
Mm-hmm.
So I continue to work on myself first and foremost
Yes.
because I am a work in progress and my identity matters because my client's identity matters. So
100%. And I think that there's so much, honestly, like so much just beautiful realness to what you just said. And I think that there's so many times that people don't realize that when we pay attention, and that
yes.
subconsciously, I know that I've done this before where I've looked at something that was less expensive than I thought it was going to be. And rather than me thinking, ooh, that's a deal, there's a difference between going to TJ Maxx and finding a
Mhm.
shirt that should have been at Macy's. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a difference to that. And like I look at it, I'm like, gosh, it must not be good. It must not be a good program. And so like we don't realize that we are holding not only ourselves back, but we're holding
yeah.
back the people that get to be empowered by the stretch that price is going to take. But we have to work on ourselves first. And I'm not talking, and I think that you and I both have a love for the Lord, that we aren't talking about an inflated false sense of confidence where we can dupe somebody into thinking that we know what we're talking about when we don't. It's a true believing in ourselves and empowering ourselves that we get to give ourselves the credit to show up and empower other people to do the same. Don't you think?
I completely agree with you. And this is one of the things that also goes back to identity. So for instance, when I started my coaching program, I had to ask myself, how would I show up to my
Mhm.
clients?
Mhm.
I believe in the Lord and I believe in his ability to do far more than what I can do.
Mhm.
Okay. So I decided because of that belief that I would start every one of my coaching sessions with prayer,
Mhm.
every single one, because I needed my clients to know that there is a force, an
Yes,
entity,
I do the
a
same thing.
God
Yes.
greater than me
Yep.
involved in this
Yes.
conversation,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And from that identity that I'm not doing this by myself,
Right. Yeah.
from that identity, I get to rely on his strength and his power, but I also have to, for my identity, rely on what he says about me.
Mhm.
This goes back to the our own mental mindset work,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And if I look at myself as an immigrant, I came to this country not speaking English. Most people don't believe that, but it is
It's
the
hard to
truth.
believe. It really is. Yeah.
Not only did I not speak English, but my mom will tell you I spoke the worst version of our own Yoruba language. Like she was ashamed. Like she's like, please, no way. But I had to adjust to this country, to speaking, to learning different ways of doing things. But if I were to look at myself from my own eyes, I
Right.
would say I can't. I
Mm.
don't have the ability to. I'm not smart enough. I have all these obstacles. I'm a woman. I like to say that I have like so many different, what is it, like just obstacles in front of me. I'm short. I always add that in there, by the way, because I'm height deficient. And it comes up. You know, when tall people want to like rest their hand on your head, like, please don't do that. No. I have some deficiencies. I'm height deficient. The color of my skin is not what spells success in this United States of America.
Aw.
I'm an immigrant, so my naturalization status does not exactly say you're going to be successful in these United States of America. My gender is like, okay, yeah, you're going to have a problem, especially in corporate America. Big boys club, okay. All of these things have been challenges to overcome. So I can look at that and say, I'm not going to be successful. You've got a problem. Yeah, you're not going to make it far.
Yeah.
That's me looking at me with my
Uh-huh.
eyes.
Yeah.
But when I decide to look at me through God's eyes,
Mhm.
then I can see that greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. I am strong, I'm capable,
Mhm.
right? Because he gives me the strength
Right.
every day to do what I need to do.
Yep.
So it's not about me, and it's not a false sense. I'm not faking it till I make it. I'm
No.
not putting on a show. I am simply operating from his perspective on
Yes.
not my own.
I
And
mean,
that's what makes it authentic.
it's amazing. It's amazing how on point you are. And it is also so fascinating to me how we all do this to ourselves, right? Where we label ourselves and we put ourselves into these boxes and make ourselves small. And it's the enemy trying to put us into these small little containers because he knows how mighty we can be, right?
Yes.
And I it's funny because like all the things that you described about yourself, when I was on faculty for our doctor of nurse anesthesia program, I was I had the privilege of admitting students into our program. And when I looked at someone that was an immigrant, that was of color, that had gone through things, I actually put them into this beautiful special box of like that person is resilient. That person's going to be flexible. That person's dynamic and can show up in ways that somebody that has gone through life easily can't do. And so it's like when you listed all those things, like I look at those things as those are your superpowers. And it's so interesting how we all can make
Yeah.
ourselves look a certain way when outside of ourselves, other people look at us, they're like, what do you mean? What do you
Right.
mean that's how you feel? And
Right.
so I love that when we can acknowledge that who we are and whose we are
Right.
is what creates our identity, not these false perceptions of who we
Yeah.
think we are. And
Yeah.
even maybe somebody outside of us that put us down or made us feel small, like that is not where we get our identity from either. It's who he says we are and
Yeah.
who we get to be from that space. I love that so much because I think that this is something that so many people struggle with. And as an entrepreneur, you really do have to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to be visible and seen. You have to be willing to fail forward. You have to be willing to take risks
Yeah.
and be seen and judged and rejected possibly, but still show up and do it anyway. Like
Yeah.
what are your thoughts around all that?
I think the one word is simply honesty.
Mm,
So everything that you just said is 100% true.
yeah.
Even when, like all of the things that I was saying, how people would look at me,
Yeah.
the reality is I can't see through their eyes.
Right.
So whose eyes am I seeing through? It's my own. It literally is my own. And being honest to say, I see myself as deficient. Not other people see me as weak or deficient. I see myself as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I can be honest and say that's how I see myself, then I can start to work on it.
Mhm.
So this morning, I woke up and I was feeling so down.
Aw. Yeah.
Okay, so this is just entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Um, I have a life coach, and I think it's so important that everybody has a coach. Yeah.
Coaches should have coaches, sisters.
Okay.
If your coach does not have a coach, then look for somebody else. Like,
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. That was actually one of the reasons why I was able to start this business because I had a life coach and she was able to pull things out of me that I didn't even know were in me. Okay.
yeah.
But as she continues to challenge me, I'm having to really like look at what is it? Be introspective, like really look at myself.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so this morning I woke up and I was feeling so down. But I have learned to not brush away feelings like that. Don't just sweep it under the carpet and get up and go about your day because it's going to grow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's going to start infecting other things.
100%. Yeah.
So I allowed myself to stay and linger longer. I love that word linger longer for some reason. I linger longer in a few things, but I
Yeah.
lingered longer in
Yeah.
my bed to really unpack why I was feeling depressed. And
Mhm.
I'm not a depressed person. That's not my energy.
Right.
Um, but I could admit to myself that I was feeling down.
Yeah.
So why am I feeling down?
Uh-huh.
And for me to be able to show up for the rest of the day with my real natural, not faking it energy, I
Yeah.
had to deal with that. I had to deal with those emotions.
Mhm,
And I was being honest with myself. This really is how I'm feeling. Why
mhm,
am I feeling this way? And the reason why I was feeling that way is because I didn't see my value
mm.
the way my coach was seeing my value.
Right?
And I've learned that sometimes we
Yeah.
literally have to adopt
Yes.
someone else's perspective on us.
100%.
Whether you adopt God's perspective and what he says about you,
Yes.
or you adopt someone else's perspective that has seen your value
Yes.
and actually knows the impact that you make
Right.
and knows like, oh my goodness, you're amazing. You did this for this person. You achieved this result. You were, and it's like,
Yes.
really? Because today I'm not feeling it, but I'm going to believe what you said
Yes.
and literally own it
Right.
until
Borrow
I
their
can
belief,
feel it.
right, until you believe it yourself.
Yes.
I mean, I think on the podcast intro, like there's a little picture of warning, hanging out with me too much is going to brainwash you into believing in yourself. Like, I was like, yeah. And I remember that too, like going into a conversation with one of my coaches early on in my journey. And she's like, you should be charging this, because she knew me. She knew what I was capable of. She knew the market. And I was like, "Ugh, I couldn't possibly, And
Yes.
now I charge way more than that because I've had to borrow her belief in me first, and then
Yes.
I had to allow to cultivate that until I believed it myself. And then we level up, and then we have to go meet that gap again,
Yes.
right?
Again and again.
Repeat. And at some point, we're like, just because you're newer in your journey, I'm just going to tell you, sister, like that it's normal as you spiral up to hit old bruises as you go. But
Yes.
what's going to happen is that the longer you're in this, the faster you're going to recognize it, the faster you're going to shift it.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with you if you have these things continue to show up occasionally, because
Yes.
it's just part of the growth and leveling up process, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I was listening to someone. I believe God literally orders my steps when I need to hear the right things, the thing
Yeah.
that I need to hear to get my confidence back up,
Uh-huh.
my belief back up. So I tuned into this particular YouTube channel,
Uh-huh.
and this coach was telling the story of how he started by charging $67 for his coaching.
Mhm.
Now you're talking about leveling up, right? And spiral, and then you
Yeah.
spiral. And then,
Uh-huh.
okay,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Now he charges $1 million
Yeah.
a
It's
year. And I'm thinking, he started at 67?
right. I
And
mean, right.
then that was a lot. And when he was challenged to get it to 167 and $600, that was for him. And I'm thinking, I'm going to borrow his confidence. I'm going to borrow his experience and say, Amen, yay and amen. That will be my story too, as
Yes.
I continue to. But I mean, you're not just charging, by the way. It would be ridiculous if
Right.
I just today said, I'm just going to charge somebody $1 million.
No, I mean, and
No,
that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, is those steps as you go, and it's allowing the belief that somebody else gets to help you borrow, and then it's adding the skills and refining things in
yes,
order to meet that next level. And that's the beauty of this. And I think that that's what, going back to your career in sales, is the beauty of entrepreneurship, is the freedom to be
yes.
able to create something that we want to create. But it's also this, there is no ceiling unless we put it there.
We are the limiter.
We are
We
the
are
limiter.
literally the
Yeah.
limiter on ourselves.
Yeah.
And when it comes to sales and to clients
Yeah.
that are looking for you,
Mhm.
they need what you have. They
Right.
need your belief too, right?
Yes.
Your belief in yourself, but your belief in them. And I
Mhm.
think that's just really important when we're coaching people in the transformation, right? Because that's what we really want them to get. We want them to get from our experience
Mhm.
that transformation.
Right.
And so we sow seeds in them,
Mhm.
but they too have to water it. They have to believe in themselves.
Yep. Yep.
They have to do the work. So I think it's just really important that we consider all of those factors when we
Yes.
think about being an entrepreneur. This is what I wanted to get across. In my book, I talk about one of the chapters, it talks about different stages, right, of
Okay.
life,
Okay.
from emerging adults before you even get into adulthood, right? All the things you can do with your money, and then the single life and the married life, right? And the parenting life, and how money impacts every single one of those things.
Mhm.
But the other thing it talks about is sowing the seeds. As an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
it's going to be financially difficult. It could
Right.
be.
Yeah.
Simply go from your corporate life to being an entrepreneur
Mhm.
if you don't have a financial support,
Yes.
somewhere to land.
Mhm.
Okay. So I give practical tips on how to do that at every stage. Stay in your corporate job, but do it now with the intention and the purpose that
Yes.
you are working for yourself.
Mhm.
You are a contractor. You are a free agent. You're choosing to work on that job so that you are setting aside what they pay you, what you're charging them. That's the other thing I had to change my perspective. When I was in corporate America, I had to see my boss as my client.
Okay.
I'm serving this client, right? And I'm charging them X dollar amount, my paycheck, right? This is what I'm charging this client.
Mhm.
And with that money, I'm investing in my future self. I'm reinvesting in my business,
Mhm.
whatever that business is. I'm
Yes.
setting aside 10% of every paycheck for the launching of my business.
Mhm.
I'm setting aside 5% of every paycheck to increase my knowledge, to pay for coaching programs, conventions, books, trainings, so that I get better at my skill set. I'm literally investing in myself while I was in corporate America. For
Yeah.
me, thankfully, even before this business was birthed in me, I was doing all of the financial steps. So in October, when I decided to go full time as an entrepreneur, I had resources set aside, savings accounts, investment accounts that is supporting me right now as
Mhm.
my business it's in its infancy. It's just starting. We're 4 months old, right? But while it is growing and it's still on milk, I have the financial support and backing to
Yeah.
allow me to do all of the things that I need to do to make it strong. I'm not acting from desperate energy.
Yes.
When you don't have the financial support, then every client experience is a must. Like they have to say yes, and people feel that energy where what do you
One
have for your money?
100,000%. And it's so fun, like how in tune you and I are, because this is exactly where I was just about to take the conversation, is
Oh,
this
awesome.
exact place, right? And so that's just it. So you were able to have this corporate job that had this lucrative financial situation, and you were able to go from that to where you are now. And I did the same. I mean, I had a healthy salary in anesthesia, and then in 2022, gulp, took the jump, right? and and that's exactly what I was going to ask you next, is how can someone start to take those steps now? And you've already given us some really great tactical, practical steps, which I absolutely love, by the way. Is there anything else that somebody needs to start considering? Because this is really what you do, is you bridge that gap between
Yes,
the dream and execution, knowing that you're building a financial net
yes,
that is allowing that to be not only possible, but like you said, to stay at a desperate energy. And somebody that's in sales, you know, there's a difference between somebody who's desperate for the sale and
yes.
somebody who's like, hey, this might work. This is what I suggest. This is, what I like. There's a totally different energy around that.
Take it or leave it. Like
I don't know if
I'm
you're
not
a good
forcing
fit for
anything on
me.
you.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
this is for you. You need it, especially selling industrial safety products. You know what? Don't buy that first aid kit. You just let your people bleed and die. You're good, right? You're right. I'm good. You're good.
Right, right. So
But it's
there's,
a totally different energy.
yeah.
So I have a framework that I like and that I've used for myself.
Mhm,
And people can play with their percentages, okay? But for your numbers to work,
mhm,
okay, it's important to know where you're going to put your money before you get the money.
mhm.
So with every paycheck, And I like percentages because money is neither a lot nor a little. And I know some people may be thinking, oh my goodness, I only make $50,000 a year. Or oh my goodness, I only make $75,000 a year. Or oh my goodness, I barely make six figures. It doesn't matter the amount of money. If you're using a specific framework with the money, you
Right.
can still accomplish the same thing.
Mhm.
So with each paycheck, I encourage my clients to set aside the first 10% and give it to God, whatever that looks like. Because what that does is it allows you to acknowledge that you did not give yourself the brain, the body, the experience, the family background. You did not give yourself any of those things. You may have developed it, but you did not give it to yourself. So say thank you and give back to whether it's a church. Yeah.
And giving money away keeps you out of scarcity mindset, because scarcity holds on to every single penny that we have, even the pennies aren't made anymore. Hold every single dollar that we have, because we're afraid to give it away and let it go and spend it and all the things. And so tithing gives you the mindset that
Yes.
frees you from that scarcity and that desperation and all the things. So I love that so much. Yes.
Generosity is so critical.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yep.
And then the second thing is invest in your future. Like invest in you. Okay.
Yes.
10% God, 10% your future. What is that? And by your future, retirement, put money away for the you in 20 years.
Yes.
Okay. Because 20 years is going to come. So long as you're living, it's going to come. And you want to have the money there and you want the money to be making money. So do that automatically.
Yep.
Now, that leaves you with 80%.
Mhm.
What are you going to do with that? I like to suggest that you take the next 20% to invest in yourself pretty much today. And what does that look like? It looks like you having 10% fund money. What? Who talks about that? That's where I vary from a lot of coaches because too often people don't want to deal with a financial coach because they think they're going to be told to like starve and like
Rice
you
and
get
beans.
raised and just like rice and beans and rice and that's it.
Yes, yes.
Or ramen, cup of
I was
noodles.
I was a Dave Ramsey coach for a long time, so like
Yes.
totally like get all that stuff for sure.
And I learned so much from him. He helped me get out of debt. And I believe certain people, maybe like you, like me, I think you and I are very similar. We can take that and we can do it and run with it. But not everybody can. Okay. And I have sensed from talking to people at the marketplace that people need to literally see their money
Mhm.
doing something right now. So
Right.
take 10% and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like the benefit of that 10%
Mhm.
is you literally tell your brain money is good.
Yes.
Money is fun.
And
I
it's
like money. I want to
allowing
make
you
more.
to experience what that success feels like now, so that you can
Yeah,
energize what you want to feel like later too,
exactly.
right?
So the requirement is that 10% you must spend it this month.
Okay.
Some people, and this is going to keep you from that hoarding mentality, right? Hold it and like hold on to it and don't
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
Just like you want to pay tithes and give it to God, you also want to let money go and enjoy it. I
Right.
sincerely believe that God desires for us
Yeah.
to enjoy our wealth. So enjoy that 10%. And then the next 10%, you're going to set aside for something short term, whether you need a new dishwasher or you need to save up for a new car,
Mhm.
whatever it is that you need to save up for, have that 10% there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
And then live off of pay your rent, pay your put gas in your car, all of the daily monthly expenses.
Yeah.
That is where the remaining 50% go.
Okay.
If you can do that, you will literally train yourself to not live paycheck to paycheck. Like if you notice there's a really big gap
Yeah.
between the full amount of the paycheck and how much is actually being spent on your expenses.
Yeah.
And that gap gives you freedom. It gives you a sense of peace. You are not going to ever be in a situation to need to rob Peter to pay Paul.
I mean, it's being proactive, and that's what you're talking about is being proactive, planting
Yes.
those seeds and investing in your future. And there's so much, I mean, I teach a lot of energetics that go into these decision making. There's so much energetics. Girlfriend, I think that you and I could talk for like hours and hours and hours. And so oh my goodness, you guys, I know that hopefully you've had as much fun listening to this conversation as I have. And you have just been such a treat for just being so wise and vulnerable and real and inspiring. And I am so grateful for you. And I feel like it's time that we wrap up our conversation. I want to make sure that you guys all know that you can check out the show notes for details on her book, on her coaching, on all the things, following on social media and all the things. Is there anything else that you wanted to say as we wrap up this conversation?
Yes, let me summarize who I help.
Okay.
Okay. If you have a student loan overwhelm,
Okay.
you've been holding on to it for 10, 15, 20 years, I got you. If you are looking to save for an apartment, a house, I got you. Let's come up with a game plan.
Okay.
If you are unwinding a marriage,
Mm.
okay, I got you. And also for couples who are working to keep their marriage together and you're working to keep your marriage afloat and you want your marriage to stay surviving.
Yeah.
I got you too.
Okay. I love that so much. There's so much that you have to offer, and I'm so grateful. I know that everybody that's listening to this is as well. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait to see you guys all here next week on the show. All right, bye everybody.
So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.